Hello, I'm Clarissa from dreambookproject.com. I'm the official podcast host of Freedom Summit Global. We are getting to know the wonderful international and local speakers for Freedom Summit Global. These speakers are gathering to show us how to live a life of total freedom where we are not shackled by time, money, or location. Right now, we are featuring a very special guest. He is in his 10th year of traveling the world with his family, and he has been to over 40 countries. He's the founder of the Family Adventure Summit, and he also founded Music Teachers Helper and Pearce on Earth. A successful 4-hour workweek entrepreneur, he has been featured on Tim Ferriss' 4-hour workweek blog, and he has also been featured in Guillebeau's New York Times bestselling book, The $100 Startup. I introduce to you Brandon Pearce.
Thank you, Marian. Good to be here.
All right. Did I pronounce it correctly?
You did. That was perfect.
All right. Okay.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right. Let me digress a bit before we dive into the 7 questions because I'm really curious. You are living the 4-hour work week life, literally?
I'm actually, well, it depends on which business you're talking about.
Okay.
The initial business I created, I've been living a 4-hour work week on that business for the past probably 7 years, literally. Except for the last year, it's been more like a 1-hour work week.
Wow.
Because I've hired a CEO now to kind of help just
Yeah.
run the operations of it a little bit more fully. So
That's amazing.
And that business
living
is
the dream.
Yeah, it was my dream. And that business has been the sole source of funding our travels as a family over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So now my time, in addition to the very little that I spend on this business, is now fueled into these other passion projects. So I'm working a lot more now, but it's on stuff that I'm absolutely loving and feel a real call to serve.
But it's still not an 8 to 5.
Oh, no.
No.
No. Yeah. These next 2 weeks will be because we're here running a retreat in Bali. So I'm going to be full on people. But then we'll take 2 weeks at the end of March and we'll go to Laos and we'll be working even less. So it's just on and off. We plan our trips around our events. And
Yes. Is this how you know Ricky Shetty? Because of the travels?
Yeah, we've so far only met digitally, but we've had a few talks online, and we're both family travelers. So I look forward to meeting him in person. I'm glad he's coming down to Bali.
I haven't met him in person.
No, I haven't met him in person.
I see. Galing. Cool.
Yeah, be good.
Another thing I'm curious about is, the book you were featured on is The $100 Startup.
Mm-hmm.
What was that all about? I mean, did you start up a company made from $100?
Yeah, well, the premise of the book is basically that you can become an entrepreneur. You can create a lifestyle business without a lot of money to start up.
Yeah.
And that is what happened with me. My initial business I created is called Music Teachers Helper. And I did know a little bit of programming. I've been programming since I was a kid. And I also taught piano lessons. That was kind of a side business that I did. And I decided that I wanted to make a little program to help me keep track of my piano students better, just to keep track of the billing and the scheduling and the things that were less efficient in my own studio. And then I realized that this would be beneficial for other teachers as well. And I started spreading the word, saying, hey, what do you think if I turn this into a business? And they're like, this is a cool program. I'd love to use it. And so I made it into a business, launched it. 4 grueling years of hard work later, it was finally making enough money for me to quit my job. Yeah. And I've had the business for over 15 years now. And so I started it with basically zero. I started with zero capital. I didn't invest any money of my own money.
It wasn't even $100 capital. It was zero.
It was a $0 startup. Yeah, it was sweat equity. Yeah.
Sweat equity, yeah. Because a lot of people have the mindset that you have to have a lot of money in order to grow the money. Yeah. Apparently it's not so.
It's true. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, let's dive into the questions that I sent you.
Okay, great.
Okay. Well, the summit is all about freedom. So, what does freedom mean to you personally?
Yeah. Freedom means a lot of different things to me. I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. Of course, there's the physical freedom that we often talk about at things like the Freedom Summit, where it's I want to be location independent, or I want to be financially independent, free from having to, to work a 9 to 5 in an office or whatever. As I have been over the past 10 years traveling and working very little on my businesses and really doing what I've been most passionate about, I've realized that true freedom in the way that I want to experience it, and I have experienced it here and there and still working to experience it, is actually more of an inner game than an outer game. My external circumstances, I mean, I've been in situations where I'm living in fact, I'm right now living in a beautiful villa in Bali, fully staffed with a private cook and a housekeeper and a driver and everything. And it's fantastic. But you know what? I still have bad days. And there are still moments where I get irritated and frustrated at things. And I start to react. And I realize that if that's happening to me, am I really free? Am I really free? So for me, it's more about becoming more mindful, more aware, and being more conscious and intentional in the decisions that I make in my life. And regardless of my financial situation, regardless of my external circumstances in life, the way that I want to experience freedom is more internal. So for me, that's how I would explain freedom.
So, you experience freedom internally, regardless of external circumstances.
Well, that's the ideal, that's what I strive for. I mean, I have some amazing external circumstances in my life, but I find if my mind and my heart aren't in a place where I am grateful for that, where I'm really appreciative of wherever I'm at, and it's been that way all along the journey. Even when I was living in a tiny apartment, earning minimum wage, working in a call center back in the States, I have to focus on what is wonderful in my life right now. I've got a wife and a beautiful daughter. I have 3 daughters now.
Yeah.
I'm living in a home. I have food to eat. There's beautiful nature around me. Those types of things. When I can put myself in that state of gratitude and presence,
Yeah.
that's freedom, in my opinion.
Wow. So it's all about being grateful and intentional.
Yeah, I would say that.
Kidding. Since you're living this freedom now, a lot of people would consider that the measure of success. So, what strategies did you apply to become successful?
Yeah. Well, again, it depends on how you define success. But for me, initially, my goal was to launch this Music Teachers Helper business because I wanted to make sure my family was provided for no matter what happened to me. I was seeing a lot of people losing their jobs. And I realized that there's not really such a thing as job security when you work for somebody else. And I wanted to have an income source that I have more control over. I had no idea how to do that. I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about marketing or graphics design or sales or customer support. Well, I knew customer support because I'd worked in a call center. But basically, I had to figure most of the things out. So for me, it was, I think the main things that helped were, I guess, the organization that I had into it. First of all, and I guess, yeah, I'll just say, if you're looking for tools, for like tips and strategies, that type of a thing, I would say things that have been most helpful for me are my morning routine. So I get up in the morning, I journal about my thoughts and my feelings. I write what I'm grateful for, how I want to feel during the day, look at my schedule, what I want to do during the day. I plan time to read. I plan time to rejuvenate and take care of myself and my body so that I have energy to sustain myself throughout the week. I exercise, of course. And so just those types of routines. That the other thing that's very important for me is creating a vision. So I looked at where I wanted to go, clarified that in my mind, and then looked at what steps I would need to take there and persevered. And it was not easy to persevere through that. There were very many, very, very hard times that I had to keep committing myself to the vision, to the why I was doing that, and that's what pulled me through.
You mentioned three things: the morning routine, which included journaling and exercising.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned second, creating the vision, and third, a sort of battle plan on how to achieve the vision.
Yeah, those are all things. I mean, I do so many things. Another thing that I just came to mind that it's been really helpful is tracking my time. So I have a time log where I track what I do every minute of every day, so that I can look back and say, how much time did I spend sleeping this week? How much time did I spend with my wife? How much time did I spend with my kids? How much time did I spend working on this or that project and this or that task? And I have a spreadsheet I put together to help me track that. I used to use other software, but I found the spreadsheet to work well.
You know what? I used to do that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like I was wondering how much time I put it in. What I was wondering, where is my time going?
Yeah.
That's why I started that.
Yeah, it's the same reason I started it. I mean, I was getting to, like I said, the 4-hour work week, and I realized, well, so that's great. I have all this free time, but what am I doing with it? How am I making it actually meaningful and useful? So I found this practice to be so helpful at bringing more awareness to me about how I am spending my time. And as I look over my week, and I'm like, wow, I only spent this much time doing that. That's more important to me than this spreadsheet is indicating. So now that indicates to me I need to make a change. So it became a way to do that. And also the other thing it helps with is throughout the day, as I'm writing what I'm doing, it brings me back to, is this really, like if I have to write, I just spent the last hour looking at stupid Facebook ads or whatever, then it's like, a wake up call to me to switch gears.
You are living the digital nomad lifestyle right now, right? Because you're traveling with your family.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for someone who wants to live the digital nomad lifestyle?
First, I would invite you to ask yourself why you want to live the digital nomad lifestyle. Really be clear on that. Like, what is it you want to get out of it? Is it a certain emotion you feel like, you're wanting to bring about? Is it whatever that means to you? If you can really hone in on that why, I think the how of doing it really works itself out. And it's going to be different for everybody. I mean, everyone's got a different path. Everyone has different dreams, different things they're wanting to do. But I would say for someone, because I think there's a lot of people too who have a dream of digital nomad lifestyle, and it does mean different things to different people. For some, it could mean traveling to a new country every week, all around the world. To some, it could mean just living in one country for a year as you soak in the culture, experience it. So why do you want it? And then define more clearly what that actually means to you. And I think with those two, those are the first two things that I would suggest. And with that, it can flow from there.
Okay. So you suggest that they start with their why.
Yeah. Got to be clear on it, because otherwise you might end up, becoming a digital nomad and realizing, wow, this isn't exactly what I wanted, which is fine, because then you shift gears and you learn. Or if your why is not strong enough, usually what happens is you lose momentum, and especially if things get hard along the way as you're trying to become a digital nomad, and you just lose steam and you don't ever end up achieving it. So you got to have a strong and clear why.
The next question, for some reason, the people I interviewed had difficulty with this question. It's supposed to be a fun question, but they had difficulty picking their most favorite. So, what's your favorite travel story?
As you mentioned, I've been to over 40 countries over the past 10 years. So you would think I'd have a lot of travel stories.
Yeah.
But you know what? That is typically a hard question for me too, honestly, because so many things just blur together. So I would say maybe not, I don't know, I'd have to think about it a lot to get to the favorite, but I would say a recent experience, a recent story that I really enjoyed is our family went to India last December for the first time. And in part of our time there, we stayed in Munnar, which is in the South Indian in Kerala, and we stayed with an Indian family in kind of they had a guest house situation there. We were in upstairs and they were downstairs in their house, and I was just so touched by the sweetness and the generosity of this family. They were probably wealthy by Indian standards, but the house was honestly, I mean, very modest, you know, compared to, you know, any house in the U.S. practically, and you know, but yet they just connected. I felt like we were part of the family. They invited us to an Indian wedding. They invited us to meet their friends. They made all of our meals for us throughout the day. Invited us, like showed us where to go to excursions, and actually accompanied us, went with us on the excursions to different places around, and like, for example, he took me to meet his friend once, and I found out he was a tailor. And I'm like, oh, that's a great shirt. I like that. He's like, you like it? I'll have him make you one. And the next day, and then he just sized me up right there. And the next day he gave me the shirt. He says, this is a gift. You know, I don't want you to pay for it, just a gift.
Oh.
And I just stuff like that over and over and over again. Like every day he was just giving of himself, his time, his energy, his money, of his family, and just bringing me in to the family, bringing all of us in. And it just inspired me to want to be more like that, and to want to be more generous in how I give to the people in my life.
You're super nice people.
Yeah, they were really, really nice. Yeah.
He went the extra mile to make you feel part of the family.
Absolutely, yeah. He even taught us yoga and meditation every morning. Just invited us into his morning practice, and family singing things he was doing. Just I could go on and on, but it was an incredible week with him.
Okay. The next question is dear to me because I'm in the business of helping people achieve their dreams in my own way. So what's your advice for someone, for him or her, to make his or her dreams come true?
Well, that is a very general question. But I think the answer that I would give, the first step, you have to believe. Believe that you actually can achieve your dreams. I think that's what gets in the way of a lot of people, is they have a lingering doubt. Even if they may say, I believe, I can do it. But inside, there's kind of this little thing like, I don't really know if I can, and I'm kind of, you know, afraid of this or that, or I don't want to admit it, or you hide it. So I think really fully embodying a belief that it is possible and that you can do it. And the second thing that would really help with that too is surrounding yourself with other people who are already living your dream. So this would be, for example, a good reason if you want to be a digital nomad to come to the Freedom Summit, right? You can surround yourself by other digital nomads and people who are doing it, because that helps you see, wow, okay, if they can do it, and they were in my situation before, and then yeah, maybe I can do it. And the more people you meet, the more experience you have with that, the easier it becomes to believe that you can do it. And also you can learn the strategies and learn everything from the other people. And I mean, same thing if you want to travel with your family long-term, you know, you can come to Family Adventure Summit and surround yourself with families who are traveling the world long-term. So it's just believe you can do it. And to help with that, surround yourself with other people who are doing it and receive their encouragement and support.
Got it. Those two.
Yep.
All right. The next question sounds like a pretty big one. What is your vision for the future?
I, of course, don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know as far as the future of humanity goes, I don't even feel like I could make a prediction there. But I would say my vision for my own life, my own family, would be to continue running the events we're running, Family Adventure Summit, Family Adventure Academy, which is a 3-day event for parents in the States. And then our At Home in the World retreats, which we're about to start now. Because these events for me are a way for me to give back and to serve and share something that I feel like it's just a creative expression of who I am. You know, it's who I've become and the way that I can give. And so for me, it feels so fulfilling to be a part of these and to connect with others who are on this journey and to see them grow. So I feel like, yeah, I receive so much support from it as well, and encouragement. So I will keep running these events, and I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 20, 30 years, I'll be doing something different. I don't know. But it's hard for me to plan too far in advance, because the main thing for me is like the meaning that I experience, it continues to shift throughout my life. But for me, it's just about following my heart, staying in tune to my intuition and what I feel driven to do and what I feel called to do, and finding ways to go deeper in service, deeper in joy, and I'll just keep doing that till I'm gone.
So it's like you're already living the vision. You just want to continue living it.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like it can be that way for anybody every step of the way. Because even before we started traveling, I have a vision. If I'm working toward my vision like that, I'm in it. I'm living the dream already. It's like I'm doing it. It's just having to put yourself in that mental space where you can appreciate the journey. And so for me, otherwise you run into the problem that I also have had, where I achieve my dreams and I'm like, okay, well, that was great. Now what? What's next? And I'm always looking ahead to the future and not really taking time to actually enjoy and appreciate where I'm at right now. And it takes away from the joy if you do that. It's I think for me, it's the joy is in the journey, not in the destination. Wonderful as the destinations are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, where can people find you online? There's one I mentioned earlier. It's pearceonearth.com. And where else?
So yeah, pearceonearth.com is kind of our family travel blog. So we've been writing on there for 10 years, and it also has links to our other projects. But the other places you can find me are familyadventuresummit.com. This is our event we hold every year in a different part of the world for 400 people. Families come all over to celebrate intentionally living, long-term travel, location independence, alternative education, entrepreneurship, the whole lot. This year we're going to do it in Bali, in Ubud, on October 2nd through the 6th. Another place you can find me is Family Adventure Academy. This is the 3-day event that I mentioned, that's for parents who aren't quite ready maybe to travel with their families internationally, but want to get some education and support and help to be able to do that. So this is a 3-day boot camp style event in Seattle this year, August 16th to 18th. You can also find me at homeintheworldretreat.com. And these are our 2-week, more intimate, just 5-10 families, where we spend 2 weeks together going really deep into a lot of the same things, but really it's about how to connect more deeply as a family. Because one of the things that got us wanting to travel as a family, and that we've had the biggest benefit from it, is really the deeper connections we've been able to forge. Back when our lives were more hectic and we were just surrounded by a culture of consumerism and constantly going to, being pulled in many directions, it feels so good to have so much time to just spend together as a family and really connect. So that is one of the things, main focus, I guess you would say, of our retreats. And we're doing one in Bali this week, and then we'll be doing one again in Transylvania, Romania, this summer from July 1st through 14th. Nice. Those are probably the main places you can find me. I also have a Dream Achievement Blueprint program, dreamachievementblueprint.com. If you're interested in a really intricate breakdown of all the tools, practices, and things that I have used and continue to use to achieve my biggest dreams in life. That's an online course that you can get at dreamachievementblueprint.com.
Wow, I'm going to tell you later about the project I'm in, because it's kind of related. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So let's invite them to Freedom Summit Global.
Let's do it.
All right. So achieve time freedom, financial freedom, and location freedom. Come to Freedom Summit Global. And you want to invite them, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be at Freedom Summit Global. I'm going to be at the Bali, speaking at the Bali Summit, and I'm just so excited to meet everyone. I love these types of events because there's so much good energy there and so much great intention. So again, if you want to come and be inspired and surround yourself, by people who are living their dreams, I highly recommend checking it out.
Yes. And on a final note, we invite you to like Freedom Summit Global and Freedom Summit Asia on Facebook. Right.
Wonderful. Yes.
Thank you, Brandon. That ends our interview.
Thank you so much, Marian.
Bye.
Bye.